Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between towering mountains, there lived a man named Elias. Elias was known for his love of routine. Every morning he woke up at the same time, walked the same path to the market, and spoke to the same people. His life was steady, predictable, and safe. He believed this was the best way to live, free from surprises, free from uncertainty. But deep down, Elias often felt a quiet unease, as if something important was missing. One evening, as he sat by the fire, an old traveler knocked on his door. The man's clothes were worn, his face lined with years of journeying under the sun and wind. Elias invited him in, curious about the stories he might carry. The traveler spoke of distant lands, of rivers that changed course with the seasons, of cities that rose and fell like waves in the ocean. Elias listened, but his mind was uneasy. "How do people live like that?" he asked. "How do they endure so much change?" The old man smiled. "Change is not something to endure," he said. "It's something to embrace. The river does not fear the rain, nor does the tree fear the wind. They bend, they adapt, and in doing so they grow stronger." Elias frowned. "But change brings uncertainty. It brings fear." The traveler nodded. "Fear is natural, but it is not the enemy. The enemy is the refusal to move, the refusal to see that all things, even the mountains, are shaped by time." That night, Elias lay awake, thinking about the traveler's words. For the first time, he questioned his rigid ways. What if he was not protecting himself, but imprisoning himself? What if change was not a threat, but an opportunity? The next morning, instead of taking his usual path to the market, Elias turned down a road he had never walked before. The unfamiliar sights made his heart race, but he kept going. He met a woman selling spices from a faraway land, their scents strange and exciting. He spoke to a young carpenter crafting a chair unlike any he had seen. Each encounter, each new experience, stirred something inside him, a curiosity he had long forgotten. Days turned into weeks, and Elias began to welcome small changes. He tried new foods, listened to new ideas, and even allowed himself to imagine traveling beyond the village. The fear was still there, but it no longer controlled him. He understood now that change was not the end of stability, but the beginning of growth. One evening, a storm swept through the village. The wind howled, the rain lashed against the roofs, and the villagers huddled inside, afraid. But Elias stood at his window watching the chaos. He remembered the traveler's words. The tree does not fear the wind. He realized that life, like the storm, was unpredictable. Fighting against it would only leave him exhausted. But if he learned to move with it, to adapt, he would find strength he never knew he had. When the storm passed, the village was different. Some houses were damaged, a few trees had fallen, but the sun returned, brighter than before. The villagers emerged, ready to rebuild. Elias joined them, not with dread but with purpose. Change had come, and instead of resisting, he chose to be part of it. Years later, when Elias himself had grown old, a young man asked him the same question he had once asked the traveler. "How do you endure so much change?" Elias smiled. "I do not endure it," he said. "I welcome it, for without change, there would be no new paths to walk, no new stories to tell, no new strength to discover." And so, the lesson was passed on, not as a warning, but as an invitation. Change is not the enemy. Fear is not the master. The true challenge, and the true freedom, lies in learning to embrace the unknown, to see every shift in life as a chance to grow, to live not in spite of change, but because of it. The world will always change. The seasons will turn, the rivers will flow, and we, like Elias, must decide. Will we cling to the shore, or we learn to swim? The choice is ours, and in that choice lies our strength. This is the way of the Stoic, to face change not with fear, but with courage, not with resistance, but with acceptance. For in the end, it is not the changes themselves that define us, but how we choose to meet them,